Hey everybody, my name is Nishantha. I'm a dyslexic science teacher. I teach here in Southern California. In this video, I want to talk to you guys about some of the really cool things about being dyslexic. When you first find out you're dyslexic, there's a lot of negative associations. It is really hard when you're first going through, middle school and elementary school, learning to read and things like that. It's really difficult for dyslexic. But once you're on the other side, once you get through those hard years, being dyslexic is actually really cool. And another thing that's happening is as technology is progressing, there's a lot of tools that dyslexics can use in order to mitigate some of those weaknesses. The big difference between a neurotypical brain and a dyslexic brain is neurotypical brains are much more efficient at doing really routine, detailed oriented tasks, where dyslexic brains have a little bit more difficult time with that because we tend to be more efficient at broad range tasks that involve different brain areas. Whereas neurotypical brains can create these really efficient circuits within a brain region, and those circuits get more and more efficient and they get better and better at reading, whereas dyslexics, they're much slower at doing that kind of thing. But the really good news is that as technology is progressing, these routine, detailed oriented tasks are becoming more and more automated. Computers are able to do these routine tasks a lot better than humans. So as we progress into the future and some of the tools are already available to dyslexics, we're going to be able to lean more on those type of things. And at the same time we're mitigating our weaknesses, we can start to rely on our strengths. So some of the dyslexic strengths, there's 4 main ones. They're called the mind strengths of dyslexia. There are M, which is material reasoning. This is the ability to manipulate ideas and objects in a mental 3D space and create new things and new ideas with these 3D objects. So if you're like an engineer, if you're like a designer, you're gonna have this natural ability to excel at that career field. And in the future, that's where a lot of these things are going, because as things become more routinized and more automated, there's going to be more opportunity to create things. And having a mind that's able to design things, manipulate certain things inside your head in a 3D space is going to be really beneficial. The second strength of dyslexia is called interconnected reasoning. Now, the world is becoming much more bigger, and in terms of what we know about information, what we know about knowledge, and being able to connect dots, connect different ideas that haven't been connected before is going to be much more valuable into the future. And if you are a dyslexic, if you got a dyslexic mind, you're going to be in a better position because that is one of your natural abilities. That's one of your natural strengths. You have your weaknesses where you're not going to be able to read as good and you're not going to be able to spell as good, but then you have this ability to connect ideas together that are really strong and really powerful and really going to benefit you in the future. So the trade-off is right there. So the third mind strength of dyslexia is called dynamic reasoning. So dynamic reasoning is the ability to take different inputs and predict an output. So if event B and event C and event A happens, what's the outcome of those events kind of coalescing together? So you're going to be able to predict things better into the future. So this ability makes dyslexics really good at being entrepreneurs, figuring out solving problems that other people don't see, figuring out how to put teams together, figuring out how to put ideas together in order to create something in the future. The fourth strength of dyslexics is narrative reasoning. Now, this is my weakest dyslexic strength. This is the thing that I'm trying to really get good at with YouTube and things like that. This strength is the ability to create a story with just random things that are happening, the ability to put together a structure that other people are able to understand. It's also a really important skill when you're trying to teach something to someone, or you're trying to take someone on a journey, if you're trying to sell something to someone, if you're trying to convince someone of your idea. This ability, this skill is really good. And as more and more people are moving on to the internet, more and more businesses are getting set up on the internet, this ability to create stories, this ability to sell your ideas and your thoughts and your vision to someone or your group of people is going to be much more important in the future. So these 4 things put together gives us dyslexics, who traditionally had a hard time in society, a better outcome in the future. And as technology is progressing, as I was talking about, we're going to be in a better position as this comes. Now, not all dyslexics have these 4 mind strengths, and not all dyslexics have these mind strengths at the same level. So my strongest mind strength is interconnected reasoning, and my weakest mind strength is narrative reasoning. And you can actively work on improving your mind strengths and getting better at them, but you, being a dyslexic, have a natural advantage and natural affinity to learning these things a lot faster than neurotypical people. Now, those are the 4 mind strengths of being dyslexic, but there's also like this hidden one that kind of comes from like always struggling with how like the system works, always struggling with how the normal way of doing things. So as we grow up, like from elementary school to middle school to high school, we're always like struggling, or at least I was struggling. And what that has made me realize is that there are other ways to do certain things. So when my classmates were doing one thing, I had to figure out a whole new strategy in order to like be successful. So what that's like done is it's given me this like mindset of not being like having to follow like a certain map, not having to follow the herd in the way I do things. And that mindset is going to be really important in the future, because the world is changing so fast. If you're doing what everyone else is doing, you're probably not going to end up in a place where you want to be. You'll probably end up in a place where everyone else is. You'll be average, that kind of thing. So it gives you this like unique ability to like think differently and solve problems in a different way. So those are the 4 reasons why being a dyslexic is so cool. Those 4 mind strengths, plus the bonus of being able to solve problems because you like had to struggle through life. If you like this video, please subscribe and like it, share it with a dyslexic person if you can. I love you. Talk to you soon. Bye, everybody.